What is up, guys? Wraith here, Great Bearded Gaming Society, and the big day is finally arrived. The launch of the Mischief and the Thornblade servers, which are, at the moment, completely and utterly packed up. Like, I actually tried to jump on the Mischief server first, just because, I mean, it's like the original. I know Thornblade is kind of, for lack of a better way to put it, like your overflow server, if you will. Well, there was like a 30-minute wait to try to jump on that bad boy right now. So we have to decide, like, do we go on Thornblade or do we wait for Mischief? And what I don't know, are they going to combine them at some point? I really don't know. For the sake of kind of jumping on and kind of seeing what all the craziness is about, right now we're on Thornblade. So let's, what we've been trying to think about here, yeah, that's fine. What we've been trying to think about here is what kind of character we wanted to play, so we could get a good start on a fresh server. And really, one of the things that we were really thinking about this time around was we want a character who can solo really well. We're not really going for our, we're not doing the 99 challenge. We're not trying to make things super complicated. We're not trying to do, some over-the-top stuff here. So we were really thinking, we kind of narrowed it down a couple times, or to a couple things. We thought about Druid maybe for a little bit. Druid obviously being a pretty solid option. They can solo really well. Probably not as desirable in a group later, early on. Yes, because I mean they can heal early on about the same as pretty much anybody else. They don't bring the same skill set as a shaman or a cleric, obviously, but they can do okay. Speaking of that, of course, we also did think about the shaman possibility, as they solo quite well. They are a little bit more gear dependent than some of the others, as we've discovered on our buddy Stink. But then, of course, there was also the other option, which is, of course, the Necromancer. And the Necro, of course, being, the end-all, be-all in the names of being able to solo by themselves, as well as really should be able to get some grouping done. Because we actually, in doing all of this, what I really should have done probably is ask more of the community to see what, the few folks who watch me actually think I should make. But I actually polled, like, some of my other friends who kind of play EverQuest a little bit, and these people apparently hate my guts because I was like, hey, what should we do on this new server? And they're like, oh, you need to make an Erudite Shadow Knight. You need to come out of the gate with a Paladin. I'm like, really? You want us to open up on a server trying to solo stuff as a knight? And, like, why do you guys not like me anymore? The other option was brought up as a magician. And the only reason, really, that I'm kind of going away from the magician a little bit is my main on P99 outside of the challenge is actually a magician. So I still play, and I also have a rather large magician on live. Never really made it anywhere with the Necro. Of course, my baby little channel here actually started off with the Necro challenge and then kind of fell off. But this, I think, will be a great opportunity. Jump on a new server, really get into the Necro a little bit. Check it out from the classic action. When looking at the different race possibilities, what we were looking at, of course, Erudite's going to have the best intelligence stats. Then let's pop this up so you can see the stats. The Erudite's going to have the best intelligence by far, but there's no way that I want to start fresh on a server in the middle of nowhere and blind. So that kind of rules them out. So while the extra intelligence is nice, I just don't see doing that. The the Necro for the Dark Elf is pretty good. You can see in the dark. You got a really good starting spot, because you'll be in Interrock, you'll be right outside of the Commons, you can get close to the tunnel, you can get close to a lot of places. That's a solid bonus. They do have the hide, which is probably not a great thing, but they have it. Of course, obviously, there's the little gnomes. And the problem with these guys, I mean, it's pretty standard right in this spot. They'll have the tinkering thing, which is nice. The infamous Gnome-vision. But their starting spot's not horrible. It's not great, but it's not horrible. And at the same time, they'll run into like some weird kind of faction issues because some people won't really talk to them. They won't necessarily be KOS, but at least with the Dark Elf, you'll have a very centralized, happy place. And of course, with the humans just out of the lot have just the worst overall stats, and they're blind. Their starting cities are dynamite, at least for population. Getting close to somebody, you go to Freeport. Like, we would definitely pretty want to go Interrock and go to Freeport. It should be right in the middle of all the action to start with. But given that I can get that close with this guy, I think that is what we are going to go for. So let's see. Let's with a little goatee. We will go. We'll go with the white, just because it stands out. It just stands out a little better. So we'll go with that action right there. Going to be Necro. We're going to start in third gate. Let's see. We want to change his face around. We'll go with that one. So there we go. This will be our little Necro. We'll start an interrupt, start a third gate. Let's see what's a decent name. Didn't really plan this part of it out, guys. Didn't really plan it out. I'll tell you what. Let's I'll come up with a name for this guy. I'll get him in, and I'll put together my I will put together my UI and everything real quick, and we will jump back in just here in a minute. And you guys can see what I came up with. All right, gang. So we have our little guy. His name is, I couldn't get Raven, so I went with kind of a goofy spelling. Basically, it's Raven. So Rave-on, whatever, it will work. So we are in game. I've been watching back and forth as lots and lots of other little, like I actually did a /who in the zone, 13 people, most of which are Necros. So a lot of people had the exact same idea that we did. Now, of course, right now we are completely broken. We got our new dish towel for a robe here, and we are going to run outside and start some trouble. Now, the advantage is, of course, is just like I did last time, is we are not on P99. We do not have a death penalty. We are a TLP. We have TLP sets of rules. So one of the things that we can do right here is get right about here and go, and get ourselves a free speed zone me right out front. Because there's really nothing that we have to do in town. There's no point in going to get a bag. There's no, we don't need any of that stuff right now. We just need to get outside and get some experience. We have no money with which to get any of our spells, so we don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. And it looks like we might have our first victim right there, because he should be about our size. So we're going to fizzle a bunch, and we're going to zap him. So we are off on our way on our first adventure on our new TLP. And again, I think the thing about this one that'll be kind of so cool was just the extra randomness, right? So I've never been on a server, oddly for as long as I've actually played EverQuest, I've actually never played on the Feronia Vi server that had the totally open trade system. We are going to loot everything because we have no money. Let's see how we're looking, about half mana, but that should be fine. We're going to play stabby on things we know that we can handle. So I'm sure a bunch of other people, like getting skeletons right about now, is probably going to be hard work. I'll have to keep our eyes open so we get a couple of bone chips together for our pet. And then, of course, we have to have the question of, do we go for the first pet just to get basically he's a walking dot, which honestly I think we probably should. Right now, a lot of things is just going to be face tanking with our handy dandy life tap spell here. And I guess at some point I should probably put my shield buff on. That would be intelligent. So let's loot that. What is that? That is not something we're going to mess with. The Undead Steward. So that is not a normal skeleton. I got all super excited. But as you can see, there are little newbies everywhere, all over the place. Everybody is going ham, trying to get those first kills. Trying to get that first cracked staff. I imagine it's pretty much where everybody is. Be the first person on your block to get a cracked staff and have a platinum. And I'm sure, like I said, the servers came up a little bit earlier. Obviously, I had some other things to do. Do I have an? Yeah, let's go ahead and get our minor shielded up here. Doing. We'll do that. We'll go ahead and sit down because some of the stuff's gonna mess with. But yeah, like wasn't able to jump on as soon as the servers came on. Kind of doing the best I can. Unfortunately, we do work for a living, so there's only so much we can do. But I'll tell you what, the other thing we're gonna check out is if we do a who. Yeah, the 46 people in zone. That will be awesome. And I am betting. Yeah, we've got a lot of necros. We have a lot of enchanters. Again, lots of people loaded up with those first set of tunes who can really just kind of get out there and get the job done. Not sure if we're going to be brave enough to mess with yellows just yet. But again, we might not have a choice. We might not have a choice because, yeah, and there we go. I mean, somebody's running off with something. People are going to swarm, especially to the skeletons right now, to get chances of some upgrade loot because they will, of course, drop some of the cloth armor. But then at the same time, get those weapons, those drop things that sell for gold. That's a spell at this level. Get cracked staff. That's all your spells for the first couple levels. So let's see. You know what? Let's go for broke. We're gonna pick a fight with the garter snake and hope for the best. Come on. Stabbity, stabbity. Basically, we're running around here with a dishcloth and a butter knife. And oh, this is not going to go well. Come on, life jack. Good job done. Need some epic combat music here. We got about one more cast of that in us. We might actually have to retreat this early, folks. This is going to be awful. Because we are falling behind. Yep. So we're going to bob and weave. So we're trying to go backwards. As goofy. See, now that's what we need right there. Stinking decaying skeleton. But of course, with the other guy helping him, it means we're probably going to get smoked. Yep. Awesome. And they're having a hard time even killing us. There we go. Now, what we're going to do... And yeah, there's already so many people chasing after that skeleton that it's gangbusters. Okie dokie. Probably should have just ran it off. But anyway, we'll have to keep an eye out for another skeleton. But obviously, we're not quite ready for those garter snakes yet. But this guy, let's see if it's we'll be able to get up here. Again, there's a billion newbies everywhere. We're going to do the best we can. But in this case, of course, we need these when we finally get our first little pet. We'll actually have bone chips with which to cast him with. So we'll see how we go. But there we go. We have our first bone chip. We're almost officially a necro. Anybody else up here? I say real clear that steward guy, because he's not going to do us any favors. I'm trying to remember, because it has definitely been a skinny minute since we messed around with our ooh, that's a pig spider. But this guy is more our speed. It looks like somebody else hit him at the same time we did. Okay. But yeah, and that's the parallel. There's going to be so many people around. There's going to be a lot of that right now. There's just nothing we're going to be able to do about it. You just go with it. You move on. You just try to see what else you can get done. And you just keep on trucking. Because again, I mean, I'm sure that the numbers in these zones are just going to keep increasing for quite a while. Because, I mean, one, there's just a lot of people who love to play on the new TLPs anyway. Like I said, I am no exception, because let's see, that's now 40 players currently in the zone, which is for a newbie zone. And again, some of these guys, we're level 1 to get level 5s, level 6s. People are already getting it done on the new server. Like I said, we ended up, like I said, on Thornblade. Like I said, unfortunately, with the Mischief server, it was like a 30-minute wait. But they're the same rule set, and I think eventually they'll probably get consolidated down there. How are we doing on experience anyway? Not horrible, 20%. We got a couple kills in there. Again, we did kick the bucket. Make sure we got our loot. Now let's leave that thing alone. But I think what we're going to do. So I'm hesitant to go in back to town too quickly. So I don't want to lose that much time if we're not going to have enough to get our spells. So I'm trying to make sure that we can get at least hopefully a couple of drops, right, where we can afford a spell or two. Because at level 1, there's really not a whole lot to buy. At level 1, that's really a big deal. So we're mostly we're thinking about doing our pet, and then I don't even know why I'm opening the spell book. This is not P99. We don't need the spell book. Just sit down. Plus, we don't even have meditate yet anyway. So, but yeah, like I said, it's one of the things where we're probably going to pick up the first pet just for the dot, and then they have the little disease cloud, which will be handy just to keep things from regenerating. Of course, again, this is a TLP instead of being like P99, so instead of waiting quite the same length of time for spells and whatnot, we will be able to, they're kind of spread out a little bit more on this one. So see if we can just find us a happy little spot where we can just kind of sit out of the way. But yeah, like I said, I think what we're going to do, there you go, you'll do. You're an even con, you will do. But I think what we're going to do, guys, we're going to run around. We're going to see what we can get done. See if we can get a little bit of capital and cash, and get poisoned. I mean, every time, why do we keep getting poisoned by these snakes? But yeah, we'll see what we can. We'll see what we can get done, and we'll check back in here in just a little while, guys. So hang out, and we'll be back. All right, gang. So we're still level 1. However, what we did manage to accomplish was we got a couple of kills in. We managed to actually get a splintered club and a few other random pieces. Actually, I think the wolf fangs actually weren't bad either. But we got just enough coins. We actually had we had a whole plat for just a minute. Then you can see we're almost level 2. We got the 2 spells we were talking about for level 1. We got the disease cloud. Just going to keep stuff from regenerating. We went in and got our pet just because it's basically just a visual dot. And we grabbed like some level 2 and some level 3 spells. For level 3, we only got like the upgrade to our life tap. And then we picked up Numb the Dead and Fear from level 2 because, of course, those are rather important aspects to our repertoire, or at least they will be later. So we're going to run around out here. Now we have our little walking. Actually, if nobody's going to mess with that guy, we will, because he's still on level. Like I said, we actually did, we managed to get a couple things done. You know what, we're going to try. We're going to try this guy. This might be a bad idea. We're going to try him. Keep him from regenerating. We got a little walking dot with us now. Should be a little bit better. Ow. But the life tap and the pet, like I said, the pet's going to make a huge deal. He really is, because we would not have been able to handle that guy, I don't think, quite that easily. Now, of course, one thing about the TLP, and we'll figure out if we're going to do that later. Again, we're not necessarily racing. I'm just here to have a good time. I think it's going to be fun. I think the server's going to be interesting. But you can see the people already running around with that that nice blue aura, where people have already been using experience potions and things like that. We will determine if we're going to go, you know, that route. But of course, being an official TLP, right, you can just hit up the store and do all kind of stuff in the store. So you go up under the potions, and a lot of that stuff is available. So potions, mana potions, all that kind of happy jazz. But I'm not, whoa, hello. That's how we even got the target what was next to us. So there are just 1,000,001 noobs, which is awesome. It is totally awesome. Again, I know it's, you know, by the time we got the P99, you know, the newbie zones were packed and it was great. They filtered out so quick. They really do. They filter out so fast. But, you know, being that first day, getting that launch day experience, there's just a lot to be said about how awesome it really is. Let's, now that we know we can handle these guys, we're going to try to step up our experience game a little bit, because these guys should be worth a pretty good, ow. Get our little heal going here. Bam, there we go. Now he's walking, he should be, so let's see, we're at 75%. Yeah, so I mean, those guys, the yellows right now, are worth a good chunk of experience. I keep trying to right, like I'm so used to playing 99 right now, we have to just right click everything to make sure that we loot everything. I'll have to get used to not necessarily having to do that. What is the meaning of this? I'll take it. I'll give it to my pet. Anything over here worth killing? Again, you see there's a ton of little necros. There's a ton of, it's just awesome. It's just, I don't know what else to say. I think it's completely awesome. You were a decaying skeleton. Several decaying skeletons. It's on. Let's do this. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Give me that. Nice. Nice. A couple of coins. A couple of bone chips. Completely out of mana, but it's cool. So we'll sit right here just to see, like, is one going to respawn right in front of us? We're getting really close to level. And I'll tell you what. My first little pet, you can have a weapon. There we go. And it was a, hi-ya, into a pile with you. So yeah, like I said, so far, guys, it's a blast. Again, I love the Super Lobby experience. I always have. Oh, did we just yet? We jumped. Oh no, somebody's already fighting. I was gonna say we might have just. Oh no! We lost our pet. Poor Lobobtic, and we just gave a weapon to, and now we're poisoned. All right. Yep. Might have gotten ahead of ourselves on this one. I'm not quite sure how, because we took out the other one with these, but maybe it's because I was face tanking it with full mana instead of trying to let the pet do it. Because again, these are, are we going to get enough mana to hit? Come on. Oh, and the level, we will definitely take them. Where is that? I just wonder, was that big guy around this hill somewhere that we were trying to make sure that we avoided? Any hoozle. No, that's a decaying skeleton. We're gonna go pick a fight with that. Really, do we just live tab him and get him? This might be a bad idea. But we really want the bone chips. And we want that loot. These guys are loot pinatas. There it is. We got our first upgrade. We have our very first upgrade. Let's sit down, get a little bit of mana back, so we can actually cast a new imaginary friend and maybe get some health back. No idea what these things sell for. We might possibly just give it to our pet. But we have our first update, and while we're actually sitting there waiting, we will, so far, I'm not too worried about getting the spellbook too put together just yet. But, so there's our fear spell, and there's Numb the Dead, and that one will be handy later. Again, we picked up, Life Spike for level 3. I think those are really the more important ones right now. I think technically getting, don't I have enough to cast my pet? Yeah, we do. If we could get our hands on, poor Cabican. You do your thing over there, honey. Don't get aggro. But yeah, I think if, you know, we get our hands on a couple more decaying skeletons, we'll probably arm ourselves a little bit better. Again, we will take everything we can get just to get some capital going, and definitely make sure we don't put too much faith in our little imaginary friend over here, because he is wrong shit button. He is not all that cool, but he will get the job done, at least until we get to level 4 and get a new one. So we're going to keep grinding away, guys. Like I said, I think these things are awesome. I know it's a big thing. It always kind of throws me back to the first time we started playing, just a billion little newbies in the newbie zone. We'll check back in here in just a little while and see how we are doing. We're going to med back up, do some more killing. But again, we're already level 2, got our first armor upgrade, which is outstanding. We're already on our second imaginary friend. I'm almost scared to give him a weapon, for he might get him killed again, but we shall see. But stick around, guys, and we will check back in a little bit later on our first day here making Mischief, but on the Thornblade server. We'll figure it out. Alright, guys, we got a super fast little update here. Basically, we are running back, all the way back to our, I was going to say our trader, but really it's our spell person. We're a little over plat. We picked up a couple of bags. As you can see, we've got a couple of updated armor items there, mostly from the skeletons. We've been jumping skeletons as fast as we possibly can every single time they jump up, because as we like to say on the other server, they are basically loot pinatas. So I'm still a little bit rusty on doing this, but this way past it. Yeah, there we go. Okay. But yeah, like I said, we've managed to come into a tiny bit of capital, and I had to come inside to sell. Like, I had no space to loot anything. I had to click to loot something, and it basically went to the cursor. So I was like, okay, we've got a little bit of plat we made from selling some stuff. So let's jump in here really quick. I bought a couple, like I said, I'll show you real quick. I bought a couple of extra bags. Just for me, that's investment-wise. We don't have to come back as often. We can stay out and we can farm longer without having to worry about stuff. And I figured while we were in here, what we will also do is run to here. We've already picked up our level 3. We're going to go pick up Grim Aura. We will grab that. We're going to pick up our level 4 pet spell. We're going to pick up our level 4 poison bolt. And there we go. So we are all set for levels 3 and 4 now, spell-wise. One thing I have figured out, as odd as it sounds, every time I give my pet a weapon, the dude croaks. He absolutely croaks. But one thing we're going to do here is, like, yes, we've got a pet, and that's fine. But we've also been, like I said, we've been going after them loot pinatas hardcore. We're about 31 bone chips now. I'm taking the shortcut out of here, fella. That's just how it is. Taking the shortcut. I will say it's a really good thing that we're not on our P99 challenge, because I think I've killed myself like 3 times these ghouls now just to port myself outside. Plus the 1 combat death we had. Plus, I went AFK at the door. And there's been just trains nonstop at the door, by the way. I mean, there are so many newbies in the zone. It is spectacular. It is absolutely spectacular. Let's sit down, get our med on. Let's see. Let's do a slash who. There's so many people now that it won't even show how many people are in the zone. It's become an absolute madhouse, and I love it. There's been some competition for some mobs. I have a couple people already. You know, you hit the same stuff at the same time. It happens. It just does. So, I mean, everybody, you know, some people are just like, hey, it is what it is. New server, everybody's doing this. Some people already, of course, are flipping the bird. You do you, man. I'm going to do me, and I'm going to have a good time. But that's the update for now. Like I said, we are trucking along. Like I said, we really didn't want to go in because you can see how close we are to level 3 and our new life spike spell. We're going to med back up. We're going to go back out here and keep trucking along. We're hoping to get maybe 4 or 5 here in this first night. We shall see how it goes. But stick around, guys. We will check in again here in a little while as we continue to make Mischief on the new Mischief servers. All right, guys. Checking back in. Night 1. Making Mischief on the Thornblade server. There we go. That is our ding. Ding level 4. Like that, we have been super busy. We've been going just totally ham on this little hill right here. We are now level 4, so we've got not too many more upgrades since the last time that we saw, but now we have like 2 bracers, 2 hull bracers instead of just 1. But, of course, with level 4, the big business is we get an upgrade to our little imaginary friend here, which would be spectacular. And he has been doing an amiable job as basically just being a little visual dot. If we turn him loose on anything at all at this level, he just gets annihilated. But then we also get this guy, which is, you know, it's going to be expensive for us right now at 18 mana. It doesn't seem like, but I mean, we're just barely over 100 mana. So I mean, it's kind of an expensive spell. We don't want to use it on every single little thing. And then of course we get Clinging Darkness. So we have some new toys in the repertoire. I said Clinging Darkness is even more expensive, but it is a pretty decent sized dot at this size. So we'll have to just kind of see, you know, how we do. I don't want to go too ham plowing through our mana bar as soon as we fill it up. As you can see right here, we have gone completely ham, however, destroying loot pinata skeletons. We went ahead and decided to pick up the Grim Aura just for the buff. Hi, big guy. We picked up Grim Aura just for the buff to help us kind of smack some stuff around. But now it is time. So long, buddy. You've been a good friend. It's time to upgrade. Time to upgrade and replace. And the one thing we are going to do... Oh, we didn't get to him in time. Oh, that might be a cracked staff right there. That might be a cracked staff. However, that right there is a win, my friends. That pet is bigger than we are. So some of these guys like this, we're going to break out the new dot right out of the gate on you. And then you are going to feel the wrath of my new imaginary friend. And these guys, they have been like amazing experience, I should point out, at this level when we could take them. We've had to con them and be careful because, again, we just got level 4. This guy's level 5. We messed with one that was 2 levels bigger than us, and it almost killed us. It almost killed us. Not that that'd be the first time we've died, because we've died, you know, a couple of times. I fed myself to the ghouls at this point so many times. But let's see, we got 33% mana. We're going to shoot that. Pow. So right now, it's about 15% of our mana bar-ish just to do Poison Bolt. But Poison Bolt should be really good damage for us right now. And it should be really good damage. It hits for 6 and then does the 10. So, I mean, it hits for quite a bit. Ow, this guy's actually hitting back a little bit. And obviously, we're still going to have to be careful, but we're also not doing the 9 life challenge. If we are, we wouldn't keep feeding ourselves to ghouls for free poured out. Now, again, that's going to wear off. Obviously, it's we can't just keep doing that forever, but it is very, very handy while it does last. It is very handy while it does last. And I'm actually curious. I'm gonna sit down over here. How does old Levin do by himself? He's doing all right. My whole strategy, however, is probably somewhat different. I will say I've been going for the mass kill strategy. I know everybody's got kind of a different way about going business, and I've already seen some of them. I've seen a handful of people run by with what probably prefab groups, which is, I mean, awesome. If you can get that stuff, that is awesome. That's the best way to play this game. You got a group of friends that are going to roll out with you. That's just amazing. You know, in my case, generally I'm by myself. I got some people I try to sucker into it every now and again, but rarely do they take the bait after the first couple of days. But no, we've been having a great time, so we've been going absolutely ham. I have been going just by the law of pure numbers. So I've been staying up on this hill right here. I only go to town when I have to sell. Well, okay. That happens here and there, which is, again, it's no big deal. There's so many people, and there is some lag. Like, that is the other thing. There is some lag. I can absolutely vouch for that, because we've had a couple of issues where either I've warped around, my pet has warped around. It happens. There's, like I said, if I do the /U, you can't even see how many people are in zone. There's just so many people. You got an absolute ton of, you know, again, necros, mages, enchanters. We've seen a lot of those guys. You got some people going for the long haul with the clerics right at the gate. We've even seen there was a whole group of, and I would say outsiders, because most of the people here, of course, are dark elves, but there was an entire group running around earlier that was like a human, a dwarf, and a ogre. So like they put some legwork on to get way over to this side of the world. More power to them. We, however, are not going to get too brave about leaving our newbie zone too soon. But that, again, that's one of the advantages. That's why we picked this guy, right? It should be in a really great starting spot for us. We should be close to everything. And more loot, Pinata. Come here. We still have not found a cracked staff, unfortunately. So no super big money. But we've done all right. Again, we've done all right. Like, so we're sitting on 4 plat. We bought more bags. That is actually one of my strategies that I know some people do and some people don't. One of my early strategies has always been to try to increase the amount of loot that I can hold before having to go back to town. I feel like it just wastes so much more time if I have to run back and forth to town to sell things. I know with some people it's like, oh, you've got the, you know, the auto loot thing, just use that. But at this level, I don't want to waste my time trying to sort what to keep and what not to keep. I just grab everything, right? So grab everything I can, fill up the bags to absolute maximum. Some of the first stuff that I buy is just invest in more bags, so I have to go home even less frequently. So far, I said it's worked out. All of our items have come from loot pinatas. We've managed to get 6 bags, well, 4 additional bags so far, and fund all of our spells up to level 4 really, really easily. So from here, we should be in pretty good shape. Hey, look at that. Effortless pull. Which is actually the funny thing about this zone, because the loot pinatas are actually KOS. Which is amusing. But if you guys aren't going to take that, I am. Or I'll miss him a couple times first. Then there we go. Because we're going to have a horde of bone chips. We're not going to have to worry about that for quite some time. And then at the same time, I said that's where so far all of our armor upgrades have come from. But I'm not going to go, you know, too insane the first night. At least as far as trying to catch too much, you know, footage. I definitely want to kind of document my adventures a little bit here, but at the same time, I don't want the video to go too far on and on and on. Like I said, it is the first night of the new Mischief servers being launched. Again, we ended up on Thornblade just because I didn't want to wait 30 minutes to get on to the actual Mischief server when it launched. So here we are. But we're already level 4. We're having a great time. I'm going to go ahead and call it this one so I can, you know, fit some videos together. We'll drop this one on the channel. We'll see if, you know, if I get around to a P99 this week, just because this has been so much fun. I love watching a new server get deployed. It's always a good time. I do need to send special thanks out to my wife this week for not just letting me goof off all night long and doing just this instead of doing anything. I got to go pick up dinner instead of cooking dinner, and I didn't even do the dishes. I'll do them tomorrow because I wanted to do the lunch, and she let me do it. So I love you, sweetie. Thank you so much for that. But then also, she also quite unexpectedly, which I think is cool, and hopefully it makes a difference. We shall see. If you guys can tell me, I got a brand new microphone for recording, which should help with some of my audio. So instead of being like a little boom mic hanging in my face where you can hear me breathing and sucking wind, she got me the Snowball Ice microphone. It sits on my desk. It looks like it's doing a lot better. We shall find out. This will be the first video I've edited with it. But as always, guys, if you do like what we're doing, please don't forget to like, comment, maybe subscribe down below. We do love to hear from people in the community, whether it's this community, the P99 community, just the EverQuest community in general, because that's generally where we're at most nights of the week in some version of EverQuest. But until next time, guys, have a good night. Stay safe, stay distant, and stay in EverQuest, guys. It's still a great time after all these years. Night, guys.